Are you ready to jump into some true crime docs, crime thrillers, and more? Check out our website for an extensive list of our favorite movies and shows at thesirenspodcast.com/whatwewatch and find our favorite true crime and thriller books and authors, some covered on the show, at thesirenspodcast.com/author alley. You can even find special deals for Amazon Music, Audible, Discovery Plus, Paramount Plus, Showtime, and even Grubhub. If you're looking to jump in immediately, check out our pinned Facebook post for some streaming service free trials on us.
You're listening to Sirens, a true crime podcast brought to you by the Sirens Network. This podcast contains explicit content, so listener discretion is advised. The opinions expressed on this podcast are solely the views of the hosts and do not reflect the views of affiliates, associates, or sponsors of this podcast. This is Sirens, a true crime podcast.
So, hello. Trying something new for You're Doing Fine, Oklahoma, aren't we? So,
yeah, we're doing new things.
we are doing new things.
We said 2022 was going to be the year of the podcast, right?
Yes.
New shit in the podcast.
Yes.
So, we're doing new shit.
Yep.
We met a stranger on the internet and came to their house.
Do not recommend.
You guys, everything we have ever said in our podcast not to do, we just jumped right in.
We did. We even drove all the way to Tulsa from Oklahoma City. And we're like, we're going to a stranger's house.
It's going to be great.
Now I'm going to murder you.
It's going to be great.
I was like, there's a 10% chance we're going to get murdered. We're walking into a murder trap, but
You know what?
turn on that Life 360 app and it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Hasn't happened yet.
It's going to be great.
We still have a whole podcast to do. She might be like, and we're done.
So, welcome to this week's episode of You're Doing Fine, Oklahoma. We are in Tulsa.
We are in Tulsa.
On location.
On location.
In the Sirens Den.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
With Raven from the Sirens podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Doing a crossover episode.
It's going to be amazing.
Crossover.
Yeah.
Crossover. Sorry.
It's-
I do all my own music, so.
I love that. This is so exciting,
Yeah.
so nerve-wracking.
We were like, ooh, we got to do shit the right way. Because she
Yeah.
has a real podcast.
She's got the whole setup, you guys. Like, we walked in and we're like, what are these shiny, bright, colorful things? All the lights and all the knobs.
We got to get our shit together.
You guys, we even have headphones on right now.
And you got a TV up behind you.
We got a TV, and
crazy.
there's like a crossover, Sirens, and You're Doing Fine
Graphic.
graphic.
And we have a
graphics.
wall. Don't forget to sign the wall
Oh, God.
before you
Yeah, we
leave.
gotta sign the wall.
That's the guest wall.
Guys, she's got a Goonies poster.
I do.
Best.
A Shining poster. Yeah.
My daughter
Man.
loves The Shining.
Man.
I know. I'm just, woo.
This is going to be awesome.
This is going to be great.
I am super excited.
See how much we can fuck this up.
I'm actually most excited because I don't have to tell a story this time.
Yeah, you
I
can
get
just-
to listen.
You get to listen. You can ask any questions.
so
We
excited.
might know the answer.
Maybe.
I don't have my producer, so we can't. I mean, I guess we would have to do it ourselves. We have to Google it ourselves. But
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
like peasants.
yeah.
And sometimes we don't even Google it. Sometimes we just come up
Just
with some
make it up.
bullshit to
We'll
fill in the
just-
blanks.
This sounds good.
Yep, that sounds right.
Yeah, so.
Super excited.
So this week we'll be on You're Doing Fine, Oklahoma, and then we'll have our second part to this story
Yes, part 2.
next week on the Sirens podcast.
Yes.
So if you're a You're Doing Fine, Oklahoma subscriber
Yes.
that is not currently a Sirens subscriber, you should get over there and subscribe.
Head on over.
Listen to all the other episodes.
Oh my gosh. Do they have to do that first? Because there's so many.
I mean, might as well, right?
They may be traveling. They may need, something to keep them.
I just
Go
sort
ahead.
of assume other people listen to podcasts all the time because I listen to it on my commute during my 9-hour workday.
Yep.
And I just assume other people consume 10 to 12 hours of podcast every day. Am
know,
I not right?
No.
Mine's audiobooks.
That too. I do the audiobooks and the podcast.
I used to be audiobooks and I ran out of audiobooks.
That's a thing. That's a thing, yeah.
So I'm just kind of like, well, here we are with a new podcast, I guess. I don't know.
Let's do it.
It's all right. All right. So take it away, Shy.
Okay, well, we wanted to try and come up with a really good true crime story, something that's obviously here in Oklahoma. So we're going to tell the story of Bobby Parker and Randolph Franklin Dial.
All right.
So August 30th, 1994, Randolph Dial abducts the wife of a deputy prison warden just outside the fences of the Oklahoma State Reformatory in Granite, Oklahoma. Bobby Parker was the wife of the deputy warden. She was 31 years old at the time of the abduction, obviously married, and she was a teacher and mother of 2 young girls. So, as we know, and as Shane and I have learned researching these, there's usually not a lot of information ever about the victims, right? Mm-hmm. Especially these earlier crimes that happened.
You got to dig for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of digging, still very little information, but we're going to try to, give you a little bit of information about Bobby. So, she was born, we do know, in 1962 in north central Kansas.
Somewhere.
She grew up on a farm.
As we do in Kansas.
Yes. She stated that it was a, very normal childhood, nothing out of the ordinary, which I feel like that was
all of us.
I think that's what most kids would
70s
say.
and 80s, yeah.
It was
all
normal.
of us,
we were all free range.
basically. Yeah.
So.
And even if it wasn't normal, you thought it was normal.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Nobody
the only
knew any
thing
different.
you knew.
Yeah.
Bobby did attend college in Oklahoma, and this is where she would meet her future husband, a man by the name of Randy Parker. They ended up getting married in 1982. So between 82 and 86, Bobby and Randy would have 2 daughters, Robbie and Brandy. Beautiful little girls.
Okay.
So Randy was pretty ambitious, actually, a very career-minded man. He worked his way up through the ranks at the Oklahoma Department of Corrections and was named the deputy warden at Oklahoma State Reformatory in 93, and he was only in his early 30s, super young.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. And during this time, Bobby was a teacher. She would, I think at 1 or 2 of the prisons that Randy was working at, she would teach. She became a teacher at the prisons.
Oh, nice.
One of the prisons, she was the special needs teacher for the special needs prisoners, and we do know that she did receive the Teacher of the Year award at one of those prisons. So she was pretty...
She's good at her job.
Yeah, she was good at her job. She obviously loved to teach,
Yeah.
working with adults, it sounds like, more than anything. So in 1993, actually the fall of 93, when Bobby and Randy, or I guess when Randy took the job, right?
Yeah.
At the Oklahoma State Reformatory. This is where Bobby would end up meeting Randolph Franklin Dial.
I'm guessing he's not working there.
He is not.
Okay.
He is not. So, little bit background on Mr. Dial. Dial was born in Tulsa in 1944. He spent time in Mexico studying painting at the University of Mexico in Mexico City. He was artistic. Okay. This is where he would meet his first wife, Christine. So when we were doing this research, we do know he was married at least 3 times.
He was married at least 3 times in Oklahoma.
Oh.
Some reports say more than that. Some
Probably
say
in Mexico or who knows.
Yeah.
The stuff you're going to find out about Dial, you're just like, does this man know how to tell the truth? Basically. Okay? So it's just going to get worse. So
Buckle up.
buckle up.
Buckle up, buttercup.
It's just going to get worse. So some reports say he had 6 kids. We could only find that he had 3. So it's anybody's guess at this point. After college in Mexico, he relocated back to Tulsa, and he actually became an art teacher here in Tulsa and sold art at various galleries and private sales.
Okay.
Okay. And by his own account, was a relatively successful artist and sculptor here in like the northeastern part of Oklahoma.
That's how he made a living. He did not have any other jobs.
All right, everything's going well so far.
Right?
It seems great. It seems great right now.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, so he was so good at art and sculpting that one of his pieces, an oil derrick sculpture, wound up being sold to the art director of a little TV show that got pretty famous back in the 80s, a little TV show called Dallas.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And this oil derrick sculpture would actually, it was, if you watch the episodes, it was setting on J.R. Ewing's desk.
Well, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in every episode, that
That's
sculpture is
kind
setting.
of cool.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is
Okay. So everything is going really, really well for him.
Uh-huh.
All right.
So well.
so well. You're like, what? Anyways. So well.
And that oil derrick sculpture got him a lot of business because he was either credited with it in the episode credits, or people would ask around, especially like CEOs of oil and gas companies, would ask around and say, you know what I really need right now is one of them oil derrick sculptures like J.R. Ewing has. You know what? That's what I really need. So he was doing a lot of commission pieces, and most of those commission pieces were these fucking oil derrick sculptures.
Yeah.
You know?
For
So-
big wigs. That's
Yeah,
nice.
I guarantee you somebody's got one of those sculptures here in Tulsa or in Oklahoma City.
Oh, I bet a ton of people have them.
Yeah.
Like, I would love
Yeah.
if anyone knows.
Take
There's
a picture
so many
of it.
museums here too. Like, there's got to be one in
Oh
a
my
museum
gosh.
somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like the
I bet it's-
Philbrook or what's the one out there by Bartlesville?
The Gilcrease?
There's so many up here.
So-
They're-
But if
they've
you-
got to have one.
If you or your grandpa, that was a CEO of an oil and gas company, has an oil derrick statue
Yeah.
from Randolph Dial,
We'll put it on our Insta. So, and you can
Yeah.
like look through your grandparents.
tag us on Instagram.
You might not even know that it's by him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Go and look. It might be worth millions.
It's literally, like, seriously could.
Yeah.
So everything it was going good, right?
Yeah.
So we think, right?
Seemingly.
Yeah. So, and from reports, his early criminal history was super minimal. Like he wrote some bad checks here and there. Like who the
Okay.
fuck didn't in the 80s?
Right.
Yeah.
He made threats. Again, who in the fuck didn't in the 80s? That they didn't make him online like they do now. They made him to people's faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then he goes and commits murder.
Wait.
Uh-huh.
This is the definition of like that escalated quickly.
That
was so
escalated
fast.
so quickly.
So fast. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Whoa. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Why did he commit murder?
Let me just tell you.
Okay.
Let's talk about this little murder. This murder he committed was so unconnected to himself that the police were unable to solve the crime except for when Dial turned himself in 5 years later. Okay, they had nothing.
Literally
They had nothing.
And when you try to look up the details, like media details on this murder from 81,
Nothing.
it's like, well, this guy died in Broken Arrow, and then nothing.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then why did he turn himself in?
We'll tell you.
Okay.
So this is what happens when Sharon and I talk.
Okay.
We're going to get to that. We're going to
All right.
hold, please. We're going to get to it. So the person that Dial would end up murdering was a man by the name of Kelly Hogan from Broken Arrow. This murder happened in September 16th, 1981.
Right down the street.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
You know,
Where's the house at? Do you
yeah,
know?
right? We got an address?
We can find it.
Field
Sure we
trip.
can. Yeah. Ooh, that's creepy. Kelly Hogan was a local martial artist and martial arts instructor in Tulsa, and by all accounts was a super popular guy, very well liked.
He was a hottie patati too.
yeah,
in
like,
81.
Just really liked the martial arts. Like just doing very well for himself. And so his murder just came as this complete shock to everyone because they were like,
he had no enemies.
he had none.
How old was he when he got murdered?
He's in his 30s, I
In his
think.
30s?
I think so, yeah.
Just like well known in the community.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just all of a sudden was murdered.
So weird.
Yeah. So it was so random that authorities, like I said earlier, they couldn't identify who wanted to hurt this guy at all. Like they were just like, we got nothing. We got nothing.
Yep.
No leads.
No evidence, no nothing.
He was shot on his front porch steps.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 5 years after the murder, Randolph Dial would walk into a police station in Las Vegas, Nevada, and turn himself in for the murder.
For the murder that happened here in Oklahoma?
5 years prior. Yes.
That's such a strange thing to do. Okay.
So let's go into his motivation for that. So another fun fact about Randolph Dial, he also wrote a book.
Okay.
It's
So bad.
it's a self-published, I'm going to say loose biography because it's total bullshit.
Oh, no.
It's got to be at least 80% bullshit with
got
some
to be.
smatterings of small truths.
Yeah.
But he self-published this book in the early 2000s
Okay.
and spoke about his history and his background and essentially how he was a really great guy that got himself into some bad situations because of all of the quote-unquote connections that he had. I mean, Shai will go into it more, but
It's very strange.
he kind of spouts off his connections to
So he's like name dropping this entire book.
essentially, and it's not even specific names, but it's very like I was in the Secret Service. Okay,
Oh.
homie, no you weren't.
Okay.
I was in Vietnam. I was a Green Beret. No, the fuck you weren't.
What?
And there are no records anywhere that support any of this. So
man.
he was he always tried to play on his ties to local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, state law enforcement, saying he had friends in the FBI, et cetera, et cetera.
But he didn't.
Fuck no, there's no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't even, the name, okay, so the full name of the book, I'm not sure, but it was In the Wind something, right?
Yeah, it's like
in
it's like In the Wind, my journey,
Time on the Run or something
time on the
crazy.
run or
I
something.
don't know.
Nonsense. Yeah.
We ain't even going to get out of it the full name because it's not worth your time to
It
to
it
listen
cost,
to
Don't
or
buy
read.
it.
it
Don't
cost
buy
me $11.99 on Amazon Kindle, and I
She's pissed
fucking
about
regret
it.
that purchase.
He's pissed.
I could have bought something so much better. I could have bought a spin mop.
What? Wait, but what about like? Did he talk about like his crimes in that? Because I thought
yeah.
thought you couldn't make money off of your own crimes.
Well, let's be 100% clear. I'm sure he made $0 off of it. I can't imagine. And at that point I don't know when that statute came into play.
Right.
I know
right.
Oklahoma has one.
Yeah.
I don't know when it came into play.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
This was pre-2007.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
not sure about profiting off of,
Okay.
off of crime like that. But,
Gotcha. All
but
right.
he made $0 off of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or he died like not long after it
Yeah.
was published, so it doesn't matter. So in this book, he details the motivation for killing Hogan.
Oh.
Okay, so for killing Kelly.
Okay.
So he stated that he was living in Tulsa at the time, and a very well-connected friend called him one day out of the blue. Again, we got these connections, right? This friend told him that he had heard that Kelly was selling drugs to his students. One of those students happened to be the teenage son of Dial. Again, this is all Dial's account. Dial was apparently so enraged by this that he called Hogan on the phone stating, "I know what you're doing, and if you don't stop, I will stop it." To which Hogan apparently replies, "You're fucking crazy, but if you want to bring it on, bring it on."
We're gonna settle this the old-fashioned way. Murder.
I would personally never tussle with a martial arts
No.
instructor.
And that's probably why he took a gun.
That's what I'm thinking.
The following week, Dial shows up at Hogan's home, knocks on the front door. When Hogan answers, Dial takes out a revolver from his pocket and shoots him in the chest and leaves him for dead.
What the?
Yeah. By Dial's own admission, had zero remorse for killing Hogan because he believed that drugs would be the scourge of America.
But he literally has no actual evidence that any of that was happening.
And he goes into this whole thing in his book about how he feels so passionately that drugs are going to ruin the American dream or whatever, and how he was so passionate about it and was telling everyone he could, including his friends at the FBI and the OSBI, that they needed to be tougher on drugs. And
what about murder?
We're like, but you fucking shot someone
Oh
that you don't even know.
Yeah.
Murder's totally fine, y'all. Just don't do drugs.
Yeah,
Don't do drugs, y'all.
So he keeps the secret to himself, like doesn't tell anyone. And then somewhere around 1986, Dial reportedly learned that the well-connected friend who told him that Hogan was dealing these drugs from the studio was really a disgruntled former student of Hogan, wait for it, who was injured during a sparring with Hogan and reportedly lost the use of his penis due to the injury.
Legitimately, in his book, he says 5 years later, he starts hearing through the grapevine that this well-connected friend, and he mentions him in the book. I didn't even put it down because it's probably complete and total bullshit.
Yeah.
That this alleged well-connected friend, and we're not talking well-connected law enforcement side, we're talking well-connected like mob side.
Ooh.
Yeah, allegedly. That he was a student of Hogan's, and Hogan threw him, he was sparring with him, threw him on the ground, and somehow completely injured himself, and was now having erectile dysfunction, and people were talking about it in Tulsa, apparently.
God. Why are we talking about this guy's dick?
That's what I'm saying. Who's talking about other dudes' dicks, but whatever. And
It was a woman.
Dicks are very, important
She was like,
to guys.
he can't use it. And he was like, oh, I need to make some shit up right now.
Yeah, like I need everyone to know that I can no longer use my penis, so.
yeah.
Oh my God. That is, oh my God.
I swear to God, in my brain, I'm like, this is the most bullshit story I've ever heard anyone make up, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And then so he tells Dial, for whatever reason, that he can't use his,
Somebody tells Dial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody tells Dial that this guy said that because he can't use his penis.
Yeah, this dude has erectile dysfunction now because he was injured during a sparring match with Kelly Hogan.
So instead of being like, hey, I want to hire you to kill someone because you're a hired gun, I just think any man that goes to find an assassin, a gunman, to kill someone else, if there was really a problem with their fucking dick, they would have said, this guy made me impotent. I need you to off him. And the other dude would be like,
I got you,
where
bro.
I go.
Yeah.
Bet.
Yeah.
Where I go.
I got you, bro.
Well, maybe he thought he could get it for free if he just riled him up a little bit, with this drug story.
I mean,
there's so much. I'm just going to keep going. 'Cause the lies.
There's
on
so
top
much
of
bullshit,
lies. There's
it's
so
hard
much
to unpack.
bullshit.
Okay.
It's
I'm trying to keep it all straight. So
right.
I feel like we're just about to get out of hand. Like, we're not out of hand already, but
Dial is out of hand.
He's out of hand. Yeah.
Dial's way past being
Okay.
anywhere in line with anything.
So he found this out and he turned himself in.
That's his story.
Okay.
That's the story he's sticking to. Yes.
But why would that provoke him to turn himself in?
I'm getting ready to tell
Okay.
you.
All right.
I love this. It's not Shanna.
I know, it's just
I was
like having
Shan,
two
what are we
bees in
gonna-
the same studio, right?
Because usually when we were talking about this earlier, I was like, Shan usually is the one that's like, but why? But how? And I'm like, hold on, I'm going to tell you. And Shan's like, oh yeah, because I already know this story. We did all, yeah. So I love this.
All right.
Okay. At that point, Dial realizes that he has been used to do someone else's dirty work with this so-called playing on his feelings about drugs and his son. Okay. After this realization, Dial turned himself in to Las Vegas authorities, where he stated, okay, here's lie number 3, that he had killed Hogan for $5,000 given to him by a Tulsa businessman, insinuating that he was hired as a hitman for a mob-type character.
So did he give the name of the guy who initially told him?
No, because it's all lies.
Oh my God.
It's all bullshit.
It's all like it's another lie. At first it's his son. Okay. He's killing for his son. Then he's killing for another man's penis. And now he's killing for the mob.
Cool.
Yeah. Just so long as we're all on the same page.
It's all lies.
Lies 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. Makes perfect sense.
It does, right? So, very quickly, Dial was extradited back to Oklahoma, charged with murder in the first degree, and was eventually sentenced to life with parole, and was serving his sentence in Granite, Oklahoma, at the Oklahoma State Reformatory. Okay?
Wait, Granite?
Granite, Oklahoma.
I have no idea where that's at.
It's southwest. It's like down there by Lawton and Altus and that area.
Okay. By the time Randy and Bobby Parker got to Granite in 93, Dial had served 7 years of his life sentence.
Okay.
And by this time was enjoying the perks of being a prison trustee.
I am angry.
So,
You've had other issues with the prison trustee status,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yep, me
okay,
too.
Here's the thing. So he was obviously in prison for murder in the first degree. For him to have trustee status
Is stupid.
he had his status at medium security because of his conviction, right? Had to be lowered to minimum security for him to have this status. Okay.
Huge eye roll.
Now we're going to get into the fun stuff of what all he did
Oh no.
while he was
Here we go.
the fun-loving trustee. Fairly quickly, Dial gained not only the trust, but the respect from the warden, Jack Cowley. Cowley ended up providing him with many opportunities to do art, to manage different projects inside the prison, and basically treated him as a friendly acquaintance. So we know one thing's for sure. Yeah.
You're like, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
So, there was a 48 Hours 2020, what was it? Dateline something.
Something like that.
There was a special over this called The Devil and Bobby Parker.
Okay.
And these, interviews with people, he very much was master manipulator. I honestly believe that he was the textbook narcissist, maybe sociopath. Anybody that doesn't have a ton of common sense would fall for his bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So the whole time you're watching this stuff, you're like, how?
The whole time we were going through this, we were like, these fucking men are falling for his bullshit.
The men.
These fucking men are falling for the bullshit. And the women are like,
yeah,
something doesn't feel right.
We got the best. One of the women in this story, we love giving a shout out to badass women for all of the crimes, true crimes we've covered.
Oh, yeah.
There's one woman in here we're like, fuck yes. She was like, I ain't dealing with this shit. Y'all are dipshits for believing any of this. Anyways.
So the warden was totally tight with him.
Totally tight with Warden Jack Cowley.
That sounds perfect.
Cowley was known as the inmates warden. I think it was a newspaper reporter, maybe even the prisoners at the prison, said he had this management style called hug a thug. So he very much was like a reformatory, he wanted to...
He wanted to rehabilitate.
These
There's
prisoners.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
There is nothing wrong with it.
But you're still dealing with murderers.
Yeah, you still got to know your audience.
Yes.
You still got to read the room a little bit.
Right.
And I'm just going to put this out there, not everyone is redeemable.
It's true.
I'm just throwing that out there.
100%.
Yeah.
They can get right with Jesus after the fact, but not everyone needs to be out on the streets living their lives.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. So, he was pretty much very pro-inmate, Jack Cowley was. When Randy Parker was brought on as a deputy warden in 93, Cowley quickly introduced Dial to Randy, and Dial was placed close to Randy, working in his office, taking out trash, other janitorial duties. And at one point, Dial basically moved into Randy Parker's office while painting a mural in the office. So I think this was like over a course of a couple of months.
Yeah, it went on for a while.
Yeah. And so Dial was
stupid.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Dial was buying cigarettes for Randy and earning his trust, like they do.
Mm-hmm.
And according to Dial, Randy sometimes let him stay in the office when meetings were happening with other prison officials.
Were they not aware that he murdered? I'm just wondering. For seemingly no reason, by the way. I mean, at least some guys in there have like, oh, well, you know, I'm cheating with my old lady or whatever. But this is just like, who knows what the reason was, and we're just letting him do whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, his murder was random at
This is
best.
so random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally could happen to anyone at any time with this guy.
Yeah.
And they're just letting him do whatever. That's
They're
great.
letting him do whatever.
That's great.
By his own admission, Dial stated that the prison officials were usually very uncomfortable with their arrangement, but
Obviously.
they still...
But
Yeah.
they still
They
let
let
it
it
go
happen.
on.
Yeah.
Like, at what point why didn't somebody say, you've got to go?
And they were discussing other inmates and prison business and security
Mm-hmm.
and things like that
God,
while they have an
no.
inmate in here sitting at his little paint party station painting the wall.
Just listening. Just
Yeah,
eavesdropping.
just listening.
Yeah.
Let me
I'm
have
just-
all the information. Thank you.
It just blows my mind, because I remember, so my dad was in Department of Corrections. My dad was the
He was a case manager.
case manager. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, it's my own dad.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it's fine.
But he never had pictures of us, anyone in his family
yeah.
in our offices.
Smart.
And anytime a prisoner came in that knew us, because there was some
Yeah, we had
that
a lot
knew
of
our family.
A lot of people go to prison from our small town.
From ours,
Well, in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows everybody in Oklahoma.
would pretty much be like, you don't know me and you don't know my family.
Yeah.
Are we clear?
Yeah.
Like, we're not playing this game.
That's smart. Yeah.
So for somebody to be like, sure, buddy, it's so
Let's be
foreign.
best friends.
Yeah, it's so foreign to me that I'm like,
Yeah, and her dad worked at a medium security facility, medium and minimum security facility.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I mean, he wasn't working on death row or anything. It was.
insane.
It was medium and minimum
Yeah.
security criminals that would be getting out soon.
yeah, yeah. Or, that were there for short
Yeah,
periods.
people
but-
that were there for theft and stuff like
Yeah.
that. They were
Yeah.
not there for murdering people.
Yeah, so,
And he was still on top of it.
yeah, he was
Oh
like,
yeah,
no.
he didn't fuck around with any of that nonsense.
No, he's like, I'm putting my family in.
That is
in
so
danger, so,
crazy
yeah.
that these people are just like, yeah, whatever, man. Whatever
Yeah.
you want.
That's why I'm just like, how?
So whatever happens, whatever you're about to tell me that happens after this, I feel like it's probably on those people.
Fair enough. Okay.
That
If
tracks.
we're, if we're allowing it to happen, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, whatever's about to happen.
That tracks.
Yep. This is fun. I usually don't have paper. So Dial he ended up being placed as yard maintenance man at the Parker residence. Parker residence was outside the prison walls.
What?
Yeah.
He got to do yard work and general like upkeep around the house because the house belonged to the prison.
Okay. But. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
So, okay.
So who's watching him while he's doing this? I mean, he's a trustee, so they're just letting him do it on his
Basically,
own?
yeah.
Literally no one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. They're just like, we trust you.
Trustee.
Okay.
/ murderer.
So this is my favorite story that we found while researching this. So Randy Parker's secretary, her name was Ann Brooks.
Okay.
She would later testify that Warden Cowley and Dial had become friends and that they spoke frequently inside the prison. Okay?
I don't like that at all.
She also went on to testify she didn't trust him and always called him that conniving inmate. Smart woman. Okay?
Okay.
My favorite story that she testified, the best. She testified that one morning, she always made coffee for the office, okay? She not only made coffee, she supplied the coffee maker and coffee for this office. Like,
nice.
it was hers,
Okay.
okay? So she's just being the best secretary ever. And one morning, the coffee was all drank up, like it was gone. Dial came in, wanted a cup of coffee, and she was like, coffee's gone. I'm not making another pot.
Also, it's not for you. Get out.
Exactly. Right?
What is happening?
She would later be reprimanded by Cowley
What?
and told in no uncertain terms that Dial could have coffee whenever he wanted it.
No.
So this badass, Anne, took her coffee pot and coffee home. I was like, I'm not making coffee anymore. Y'all don't get coffee.
Oh.
You're going to act like children. I'm going to treat you like
She
children.
literally took her ball and went the fuck home.
She's
And
like,
was
I
like,
know.
fuck you guys.
It's my
If
coffee.
I have, no, I'm not serving an inmate coffee.
I'm not serving a murderer coffee.
Yeah.
No.
It's my freaking coffee.
They can go get coffee at the commissary.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like her. I like
Yeah.
Anne.
Yeah, we
did
were
too.
like, wow, she's a bad bitch.
Yeah.
Anne gets it.
Yeah. At this time, Dial having his hands in basically everything at the prison, right? He helped set up a staff gym that had a walking track, weights, treadmills, all the things that were to be used by the employees and their families. This was set up in a vacant cell block. He had people so
Wrapped around his fingers.
yeah, that they let him live in this vacant cell block with access to a shower, a phone.
What?
Yes, by himself.
And no guards. So whenever prison employees or their family members came in to work out, he's just creeping around overseeing their workouts.
Just hanging out.
That's not cool, man.
Not at all.
That's fucking, why would you, that's so weird. Why would you do that? That's so strange. It also makes me wonder, you said that he was coming in and out of the warden's office a lot?
all the time, yeah.
So, like, isn't that where they keep, like, case files and stuff like that?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. He was, by his account, he was overhearing private case information on a multitude of inmates. And he utilized that information in the yard because he also ran a business.
Of course he did. Of course.
You know, he ran a trade business
Of course.
where he would take shit from the commissary and then trade for other stuff.
Okay.
And no one was calling him on his bullshit because he was friends with the warden, right?
And he's just finding all of this blackmail
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
on literally anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was quiet enough to kind of creep around in the background and no one thought he was
A
problem.
murderer?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All of this is going downhill, I feel like.
He was so just kind of separated from everyone that they have head count in the morning and at night, every prison. Head count.
Right.
At least twice a day.
Right.
You come out of your cell and they physically count your heads, right?
Yeah.
He didn't have to do that. He could call in from his
From the
cell,
vacant cell block with
from
the
his-
gym.
At the gym.
What?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like if I were in charge and I found this out, I'd be like, everyone's fired. Everyone is fired. Send him
think.
back to
It's
his
just
jail
the
cell.
domino effect of like so many bad policies and bad decisions on the part of staff and that warden specifically that
my
it's a
gosh.
shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he was done, I guess, setting up this staff gym, doing all the things there, he needed a new project. So he convinced Cowley to set up a pottery studio in the Parker's garage.
No.
Not only that, he was able to get Cowley to contact a local merchant who agreed to provide the equipment and supplies to set up the studio, and in return was given a contract to purchase and sell the pottery and sculpture pieces that came from the studio.
So sick of it. I'm so sick of it. This is all just leading up to something horrific. I feel it in my bones. What's keeping him from just skipping town?
Not a goddamn thing.
It turns out literally nothing.
Nothing
Yeah.
at all.
Nothing. No one. Please continue.
Late spring of 94, Bobby Parker had been working as a substitute teacher in the local school district, but Dial wanted Bobby all to himself. So after some scheming, he was able to get Cowley to place Bobby as a sponsor for his pottery studio. Okay?
Okay. But doesn't she also live there? Like where the studio is at? Okay.
Yeah.
He had notes and journals and had talked to other inmates at the time. He had met Bobby Parker in the gym, in the employee gym,
It was probably real awkward for her.
and was completely infatuated with her. Obsessed from his little vacant cell block gym dorm room, he was able to see the back of the Parker house.
Oh, no.
And he would just sit and watch.
So now we've got a stalker on our hands.
I mean, probably.
Completely
More than
infatuated
likely.
with her.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, because he said in his book he was completely infatuated.
Yes.
When school let out in the summer of 94, Dial was working in the pottery studio and convinced that he would have unfettered access to Bobby. But one thing he didn't plan on was Bobby was a mom who had kids that weren't in school. Summertime. They were at home. Dial wrote in his book that he was not interested in dealing with Bobby's kids and he wanted her all to himself. At this point is when he started thinking of ways to be alone with Bobby. He believed that the kindness that she had shown him for the better part of a year meant that she felt the same way about him as he did about her.
God, typical man.
I know.
Like, she tolerated his presence, so he was like, she wants my dick.
Yeah.
She definitely wants me.
She totally. She went.
Sit right.
She likes older men.
That's so gross. Men are so gross. Sorry, one guy who listens to this.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's not a lie.
It's not a male-dominated audience,
No,
for sure.
no.
It's really not.
That's all right. Maybe we should talk about football or, like, monster trucks or whatever they focus their time
Whatever
on.
they're into.
Yay, sports balls.
Yes.
No. So as the summer went on, less pottery was being made, and Dial was just kind of hanging around the Parker's property at this point.
Does it ever say how many people are in this pottery class?
So, from what I understand from, of course, the book he wrote, is that the prison took it more as a studio for him
Okay.
to produce art pieces that they would then sell.
Yeah, because I was about to say, if it's in their garage, like how many inmates are they letting out just to be?
Because he
Okay.
would do like little art classes and stuff for the inmates in the prison walls. But this particular pottery studio
Just
in the
for him.
Parker's garage was almost exclusively for him.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
At this point, Randy kind of notices, hey, there's not much pottery being made around here. And then at this point was like, hey, Cowley, like, you need to get this guy out. Like, he needs to go. Parker had noticed that not only that, but he was also like very controlling in everything at the prison as well as at the Parker household. So he was trying to manipulate the whole situation there. And Randy was like, something's not right here. A year and a half later, maybe we need to actually treat him like a prisoner. Anywho.
Or not. Either way.
Or we'll just
We
let
don't
it go.
care.
It's fine.
It's fine. Within a couple of days of Randy saying, hey, Kelly, he's got to go, Dial would abduct Parker's wife
Oh my God.
and go on the longest prison escape in history. And that is the end of part 1.
Oh
You've reached the end of our episode. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Join Raven next time on the Sirens Podcast.
Do we have an outro? That's our outro, isn't it?